tous et à toutes, bienvenue pour cette seconde journée sur l'espace sécurité intérieure et défense. On va commencer tout de suite avec une interview de Nathalie Jaarsma. Nathalie, you are the Cyber Ambassador for the Netherlands.
Correct.
Many thanks for being with us today. It's nice to have you here. Can you maybe present the national cyber strategy from the Netherlands?
Yes, certainly. And thank you, Amelie, and thank you for having me. It's really fantastic, and I've had a wonderful day already at VIC. We have published our new cyber security strategy a couple of months ago, and realizing that it needed an update given the threat landscape and given the responsibilities in our society. We realized that everybody in our society must be able to actually use the digital space in the best way possible, in a secure way. So, and this, our economy, our democracy, our society really depends on the digital world. So we need to increase our cybersecurity. And basically, we have drafted a new strategy along 4 different pillars. The first pillar is to increase the cyber resilience of the government, business and civil society organizations. The second one is to secure and make sure that there are innovative digital products and services. But the security is really important here, and case in point in terms of legislation is the Cyber Resilience Act of the EU, and we are planning to look into the legislation even further to see what is needed on top of the Cyber Resilience Act, horizontal legislation or more sectoral legislation. Then the third pillar is that we need to counter the cyber threats that are coming from states and criminals. And the fourth pillar is the cybersecurity labor market, but also to increase the general education. So education of general citizens, but also really focusing on the primary and secondary schools.
Yeah, thank you. So it's quite comprehensive and addressing sort of all the different aspects of cybersecurity.
Exactly.
And how do you make people, citizens, more responsible and sort of involve them in this effort?
Yeah, thank you. Well, first of all, we believe that the biggest part of the risk must be borne with the developers and suppliers of digital products and services. But we also realize that there's always a kind of residue of risks that needs to be dealt with. And so it is necessary that people are more aware of the threat landscape, and that they are also aware of what kind of precautions that they can take. So it is the general public, but also SMEs that we need to focus more on. So what we're going to do is to organize awareness campaigns for different target groups. And I already mentioned like the focus on primary and secondary education, but for that also teachers need to be capable to actually perform that task. Then secondly, we're going to organize clear points of contact that people can reach for questions and for clarifications and to be referred to further information. And then thirdly, we need to make sure that we notify victims and targets more promptly.
Yeah, thank you very much. So maybe let's try to think out of the box and trying to imagine ways and means to improve collective response to cybersecurity. What would you do?
Yeah, and I think collective response, you can look at that through different lenses. And so in terms of resilience, I think when it's about collective response, information sharing is the key word, threat intel sharing. And so we need to do better in terms of sharing of information between the private sector and government. Need to make sure that the right information flows through the right actors, so that they can take measures. And we're planning to actually form a public-private platform to enable this. Then another lens is obviously through the lens of citizens, like collective response. And there, my personal view is that, say we have the Cyber Resilience Act that is about the security of hardware and software. I think we need to use the democratic institutions that we have already in place to actually then have a collective response. For example, the consumer watchdogs that we have in our societies, and give a bigger voice to consumers. And then lastly, when we talk about the collective response, I'm a diplomat, and then of course I always look at sort of collective diplomatic response, and that is basically in reaction to malicious acts coming from other states. So, and here we see that for us the EU is the go-to place, and to act with all the EU member states together.
Okay, so that's both at the national level and also international level. I mean, regional, at least with the EU.
Yeah.
Maybe just to conclude, what do you expect from 2023 on cybersecurity and improving cybersecurity at large? Is there anything you have in mind?
Well, I think we all know that cybersecurity is teamwork, and I think for a long time governments and private sector have been working next to each other, but not and appreciating each other's role. But I think we see that there is an eagerness both from the side of the private sector and from the government to do more together. And I think that is a really good starting point to do better together and really make sure that we work as a team.
Thank you very much, and I think that's also the objective of you being here at FIG in France here today, to try to work with your French partners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for coming all that way, and good luck for the rest of the day.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Amélie.